Welcome to Literary Lantern. Today's topic is cultural studies. We have already attached a comprehensive material on cultural studies in our previous video. If you haven't downloaded the PDF yet, go to the video and you can find the link for downloading the PDF in the description box of the video. Before looking into cultural studies, let's look into Marxism briefly. Marxism laid the foundation for cultural studies. Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels, the two most prominent theorists under Marxism, collaboratively wrote the Communist Manifesto. It was published in 1848. The first line of the Communist Manifesto states, "The history of all hitherto existing society is a history of class struggles." With this line, we come to know that Marxism is all about class struggles. So Marx aimed at overturning capitalism in favor of communism. In history, at every point of time, we had the class struggles between the upper class and the lower class. Here, we have the revolution of proletariats against the capitalists because the capitalists sucked all the labors of the working class. Marx divided the society into two structures. One is the base structure, the other one is superstructure. Under the base structure, we have means of production, laborers, machineries and commodities. In superstructure, we have ideologies. Art, family, culture, religion, etc. They bring ideology. What is ideology? The values imposed by the people in the superstructure over the base structure, or the values exerted by the people who hold the power. Let's look into two most prominent Marxist theorists. They are Antonio Gramsci and Louis Althusser. Antonio Gramsci was from Italy. He wrote the following works: Prison Notebooks, Letters from Prison, The Southern Question. He gave the concept hegemony. Hegemony is the domination with the consent of the people. Example, colonialism in India. So Britishers, before arriving in India, they told that they came to India only for trade, but later they occupied the country and ruled entire country. So this is called hegemony, ruling the people or dominating the people with the consent of the people. Gramsci also coined the term subaltern. Subaltern initially referred to the working class people, but now we use the term to represent all the marginalized section. Next, we have Louis Althusser. He wrote the work Ideology and the Ideological State Apparatus. So every state has two apparatuses. They are repression and ideology. Repression, assimilation of ideas occurs through two ways. Under repression, ideologies are fed into people's mind through punishment, police, law, etc. Whereas under ideological state apparatus, ideology is fed into people through education, religion, media. That is everything that comes under superstructure. Louis Althusser also gives the term interpellation, which refers to invisible or indirect influence. For example, in the picture, we have two babies. The girl baby wears pink dress, whereas the boy baby wears blue dress. So throughout years, we believed that pink refers to girls, whereas blue refers to boys. But it need not be in this way. But this ideology is fed into us as if they are really true. This is called interpellation. Then we have most important cultural theorist as well as Marxist theorist. He is Pierre Bourdieu. He divided cultural capital into three different types. They are embodied capital, objectified capital, and institutionalized capital. Embodied capital. Before looking into embodied capital, let's learn what capital is. Capital refers to sources, the resources and values. Embodied capital refers to the resources that are intentionally acquired or passively learned. For example, if you belong to an aristocratic family, you will learn a few artistic taste skills because you are part of that social class. Next, objects referring to cultural capital are called objectified capital. For example, rich people may have great portraits on their walls. Next, institutionalized capital. It refers to the institutions. For example, we can take Oxford, Cambridge. For example, if we receive degrees from those institutions, we consider them as a symbol of social status. So these are the three types of capital given by Bourdieu. Bourdieu also gives the term cultural intermediaries. Actually, cultural intermediaries act as an intermediate between the producer and the consumer. Here the producer refers to the producer of culture and the consumer refers to the people who consume that particular culture. Example, fans club. Bourdieu's important works are Outline of a Theory of Practice and Distinction. So we have looked at three most important Marxist theorists. Next, Michel Foucault. We all know Foucault is a person who talked about power in detail and surveillance. Let's have a separate video of Foucault. So in the next video, you will learn about Foucault in detail. So let's move to culture. Definition of culture. Is there a particular definition for culture? No. Yet we have various types of culture. High culture refers to the culture of elites who often hold the political power. Low culture. Low culture refers to the culture of the poor people or the one who are suppressed by power. Subculture. Subculture refers to a smaller group of people within the larger culture. Popular culture. The very popular culture is also called mass culture, and the very name suggests that it is a type of culture consumed by mass people. Youth culture. Youth culture refers to the societal norms or cultural values of adolescents and young adults. And under youth culture, we have youth subculture. An example for youth subculture would be punks or rap. Cross culture. Cross culture refers to the people of different nations who share different cultural values. Counterculture. Counterculture is a hostility or enmity towards a dominant culture or mainstream culture. Then we have consumer culture. Consumer culture refers to the values we acquire as consumers. Why should we learn about these different types of culture? Only by knowing about these different segregations or distinctions of culture, we will come to know the clear definition of cultural studies. High culture, actually, cultural studies came to subvert the distinction between low culture and high culture. According to cultural studies, we don't have any distinction between culture. Culture is an ordinary thing. Raymond Williams, the famous theorist, states culture is ordinary. It refers to everyday habits and values of people. But before centuries, people believed that there is a culture which refers to the culture of elites, and that is high culture. Matthew Arnold, T.S. Eliot, F.R. Lewis all belong to the high culture. Arnold wrote the book Culture and Anarchy, where he stated culture is a study of perfection. F.R. Lewis wrote the work Culture and Environment. And F.R. Lewis, in his work The Great Tradition, canonized Jane Austen, George Eliot, Henry James, and Joseph Conrad. Actually, he left two most important writers. They are Thomas Hardy and Charles Dickens. Thomas Hardy and Charles Dickens wrote for the people, especially the people of the who belong to the lower strata of society. That might be the one of the reason why F.R. Lewis left Hardy and Charles Dickens in his list of writers under the Great Tradition. So cultural studies is all about subverting the elitist notion of culture. So there is no particular definition for culture. High versus low culture and subversion. So culture in general refers to the common views, beliefs of a socially connected group of people. It can be language, food, dress, institution. That's why Raymond Williams in his work Culture and Society states culture is ordinary and it is a lived experience. Mikhail Bakhtin states culture refers to the ordinary things. In his work Cultural Prosaic, prosaic means ordinary. So Bakhtin stressed the ordinary and unsystematic events of the world as the primary one. So in this slide we have the picture of a famous writer. He is none other than Chetan Bhagat. Why should Shakespeare be the canon? In Western society, Shakespeare is considered as the canon. Why should Shakespeare be the canon? Why not John Donne and other writers? Because Shakespeare wrote for the elite people, the elites of those centuries were kings and queens. So he supported the elite people, and so he is considered as the canon. So in the same way, we have pulp function. We categorize some of the works as pulp fiction. Actually, there is nothing called pulp fiction. And here we have Chetan Bhagat. When we are literature students, we can analyze his works. We can analyze the setting, narrative techniques, and other things in his works as well. Because there is no thing such as high culture and low culture. And we should not categorize the works of Shakespeare, Milton under high culture, and the works of other writers like Chetan Bhagat under low culture. Because there is no distinction between high culture and low culture. Everything, every product, everything, they deserve their own space in the society. So cultural studies is basically influenced by movements like Marxism, feminism, structuralism, etc. But in Marxism, we have part of Marxism. In cultural studies, we have a part of Marxism, not the complete Marxism. That is called New Left. What is New Left? Let's look into New Left. Key facts under cultural studies, key theorists under cultural studies, and the birth of cultural studies, that is Birmingham School and Frankfurt School, everything in our upcoming videos. So do subscribe our channel. Let's meet in the next video of the cultural studies series. Thank you.